What's going on YouTube? So this job presents us with some very unique opportunities, and today is certainly one of those unique opportunities. We're in South Korea to be among one of the very first people in the entire world to go hands-on with this all-new 2026 Hyundai IONIQ 6N. This model is promising to set a new standard for the N performance sub-brand, building on the success of the IONIQ 5N. And we get to actually show you that crazy performance out on the track today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. Alright, so let's get started here with this video. We want to kind of begin with a little bit of a walk around of the exterior as well as the interior. And then like I was saying later on in the video, we will be showing you the actual performance of this model out on the track. Now I'll just go ahead and state the obvious. As you can see, it is camouflage. We can't quite show you the full exterior and interior design just yet, but that is coming soon, so make sure to stay tuned to our channel. Now, as far as you can see over here, a lot of the design inspiration is coming from this model, the RN22E. And you can see over here in the front, since this model is based on the refreshed IONIQ 6, you're going to see a lot of those kind of design elements. Hyundai has shown that off globally, and we'll kind of insert a picture of what that looks like undisguised. But as you can see, that's just going to take that design and kind of dial up the aggression even more for in duty, of course. So you're going to have this very aggressive lower fascia, really letting that airflow in. Nice lower body kit here, which is again very aggressive. You have a functional vent detail right here, and then of course we've got the new lighting on board. You've got your daytime running light and dynamic turn signal up there at the top, and then you've got the actual headlight unit separated down below. Overall, this is a lot more of an aggressive design. Looks a little less bulbous than it did before. And as far as the N, this is also going to be wider by 30 millimeters on both sides. Now, as far as the wheels, obviously this does have many unique elements. First of all, you've got the lightweight 20-inch alloy design on board. We also have special Pirelli performance tires going around it. These are wider than in the standard IONIQ 6, which again is why the vehicle itself had to be widened. Inside of here, you can see the detailing where the air flows through to these brakes. These are performance brakes, and you've got those special N calipers in that signature orange color. Up top here, we've got the traditional mirrors, You might see some models that have the camera mirrors, but obviously when it comes to the US market, that's not currently allowed. So this is the mirror setup we'll be getting.
Now at the side of the IONIQ 6N, of course it's not going to change massively when it comes to overall vehicle length. It's about 191.1 inches, and the IONIQ 6N specifically is going to be just a little bit longer than the regular wheelbase version. I do expect everything to be very aggressive and blacked out. As you can see, some of your window trim is going to be blacked out, and I also expect to see some orange accenting down here on the bottom. And as we transition to the rear, boy, do we have an absolutely insane design, that is for sure. The IONIQ 6 has always had a very bold look, and as you can see for this model, we're going to have the wing spoiler. Look how big this wing spoiler is. This is raised quite a bit off of the body itself, and you do keep the secondary spoiler as well. Now, we can't see, a ton of design details. However, the spoiler is going to stay the same, and it looks very aggressive. Additionally, down here, we're going to have a slightly revised look for the 2026 model. As Drew said, this model did get a refresh this year, so we expect all those elements to remain the same except be beefed up for in duty. We have our pixel-themed taillights through here. We also have the dynamic amber turn signal, and then dropping down to the lower fascia, all of this is very, very aggressive, and you can kind of get a little bit of a hint of what that may look like over here on the concept vehicle. On this model specifically, it has a lot of blacked out elements regardless of what exterior color you select, and the lower diffuser area is absolutely insanely aggressive. Now, as far as safety systems are concerned, we do expect all of your active safety features to be standard equipment on the IONIQ 6N. Now, we cannot wait to show you what this vehicle is like out on the track, on the autocross, as well as even drift it. So let's go ahead and get into that. But first, If you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from our long-term vehicle videos to our side-by-side comparisons, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars.
Well, guys, here we are in the IONIQ 6N, and we can't wait to show you what this vehicle is capable of. We're actually set up on an autocross court, so let's go ahead and start by showing you some of the capability of this vehicle.
We're going to be going through some different drive modes and kind of basically showing you the differences as you make these different settings. This is an extremely customizable vehicle in terms of all that you can do to just kind of match basically your level of comfort, your driving ability, and the conditions that are around you. So it was going through with our normal drive mode, the slalom there. And we're going to do some emergency handling here. Very nice.
Feels very, very much glued to the road, that is for sure.
All right, so like I was saying, that was normal mode. Now we're going to do the same exact thing in sport mode, just checking out how everything changes here.
Good brakes too.
Oh yeah.
Steering, I assume, felt a little bit different on that go around.
Yeah, absolutely. Just everything gets a little bit firmer, of course.
Very quick.
Yes, super agile. This vehicle changes directions like that. Of course, you know, you're looking at the lower center of gravity compared to the IONIQ 5N, and I think that's really what I was feeling in that emergency handling situation, is just how quick it changes directions and the body roll is so little.
Very nice.
All right, yes, so you can definitely feel that. So in mode there, having the stability control in a sports setting allows you to basically, you know, have a little bit more of the oversteer situation, you know, let the back come out just a little bit, allowed us to get around those cones just a little bit easier overall. Very nice.
Yeah. Another thing I'm kind of noticing as well is just the sound. I think this has a very different overall sound than the IONIQ 5N, and it does, they were talking about making it sound more realistic, and I think this very much does sound very realistic, especially with the shifting.
Let go of it, brake pedal.
Wow. That is that is something right there.
Alright guys, so what we're doing here is we're out in the high-speed track. So this is the part where we kind of put all the pieces together here. I'm back in the back seats. Yeah, Mason's up here in the front. He's doing the driving.
It's really a lot of systems, and Hyundai's put a lot of work into making this IONIQ 6N perform really well out here on the track. And I'm certainly not even pushing it to its full ability, and I'm already really benefiting from all that they've done to make this vehicle as capable as possible. And compared to something like the IONIQ 5N, I already am noticing they call this the in-driving experience 2.0, and what they've done is changed a lot of different elements. And of course, this is a sedan as compared to an SUV, so that in itself has a lot of benefits when it comes to overall driving dynamics.
Yeah, this vehicle's lower center of gravity is certainly beneficial. I can even feel that from the back seat, just in the amount that I'm being tossed around compared to previous experience with the IONIQ 5N. Yeah, very nice. It's just, it's balanced. It's easy to control as well. You can even, let the back out just a little bit, and it just feels really nice and controlled.
Another thing that I am noticing is just the overall sound of this vehicle. So they have worked on fine-tuning the exhaust sound. And, for driving an EV out on the track, normally they're not quite as fun to drive as something that's, a traditional internal combustion engine. But Hyundai has really worked to kind of minimize the difference, honestly, with the actual physical shifts of the gears, which I'm going to go through and do some manual shifting here in just a second with the paddles. They really kind of minimize the difference that you would find in this vehicle as compared to a traditional gas vehicle.
Yeah, they're still finalizing the new sounds, but I think that they have certainly made some improvements, and we're really enjoying them for sure today.
Really good brakes. And of course, if you're doing the manual shifting, it's actually going to cut the power and everything if you don't shift. That's one of the really fun parts about this vehicle.
Yeah, that really can trick your brain more than you would think.
Some hard braking. I'm sure you can just see it. The smile on our face tells you everything you need to know about driving this vehicle. We certainly are looking forward to putting this to the test, not just on a track, but also in the future, living with this vehicle and showing you what it's like on the day-to-day.
Right, part of the IN sub-brand, their DNA is having track performance built in right from the factory, but also something that you can enjoy on the day-to-day as well. It's not overly uncomfortable or anything like that, and if this seems like it's heading right towards that same direction as the 5N, where it really nails those elements. Hyundai emphasized in their presentations this morning that they designed their N products to be able to go 2 laps on the Nürburgring without any type of degradation at all, which is one of the things that's impressing me right now, is because we're allowed to do a lot of laps here
10 laps.
Proving ground.
And
oftentimes when we're with manufacturers, sometimes we're very restricted in the number of laps we can do, just for performance reasons. But, you can really see Hyundai's confidence here, because we're allowed to really rip on this vehicle lap after lap.
And it's not just us either. There's a lot of journalists out here that have been doing the same thing the entire time. So this is very impressive. Now, what we've done now is switched into the N mode, which of course basically amps up everything to the maximum degree. We have it in the sport stability control setting. And as you can see, the rear will actually come out of this vehicle. I mean, it really does feel completely different when you put it in the N mode, and it just enhances your overall feel. What was already a very fun vehicle becomes extremely fun out here on the track. What a blast this is. Good driver.
You can do this.
I'm not so sure. You have a lot of confidence.
Yeah, first, without drift mode, just our M mode,
Okay.
I can demonstrate the circuit layout, driving. Let's go. Little sleepy or very sleepy. Like this. Without this initiation setting, somewhat it's hard to make oversteer. Like when I push the throttle, some understeer also happen.
Right.
So that, like this 3 value, when I throttle off, like this.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
So depending on the road condition, like snow or a fully dry asphalt,
Right.
we can differentiate this setting. If I make 1, it's like some beginner mode, or yeah, then when I initiate drifting, yeah, not that huge angle the car allows. Yeah. Yeah. Soon the car wants to go straight.
Right.
Yeah, not spinning. But when we go
Change the
change
angle.
the, yeah, like a 6 or above higher value, then we can make a more drift angle. Like this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Some sideways we can go with this mode. Definitely when you go to 9 or above, 10 max,
Yeah.
then anyway, yeah, we could probably spin.
All the way around.
Yeah. Some drifters want to shift gear when drifting,
Right.
because all the engine power finally goes to the rear wheel, that we can adjust the power ratio or torque ratio, so that it is possible with this virtual gear. So in second gear, the wheel torque carries much torque to make spin easily.
Right.
So it's more aggressive setting. That's the rev hanging.
Right.
Like this. Yeah.
It's very fun. I'm also noticing it sounds different than the IONIQ 5N.
Yeah, you are right. Also, we are improving the sound quality of this.
Well, that was certainly a lot of fun, to say the least, and we cannot wait to show you even more when we're able to drive this vehicle back home in the United States and get those official details when it comes to things like pricing. Now, by the way, when it comes to things like pricing, we do expect this vehicle to start very similar to something like the IONIQ 5N, so we're expecting around a $65,000 starting point for this model. Now, if you're looking to buy a Hyundai IONIQ 9 or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. Now, when it comes to availability, we are expecting this to be a late fall to maybe early winter availability for the IONIQ 6N. And guys, that's going to be where we conclude this video. Of course, stay tuned. We will be covering this extensively in the future, as well as doing a full walk around with it uncamouflaged. So you'll definitely want to pay attention for that coming shortly. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.